So I just took a private plane from Salt Lake City to Santa Monica Airport so that I could arrive in time for my show. Like, a client wanted me to come give a speech today in Salt Lake. I was like, sorry, I can't do it because I have this show that I'm doing on Friday nights. And they were like, well, what if we got you a private plane? I was like, yes.
I'm actually going to tape my set list onto here so I don't knock it off and so I can sit on the stool.
My parents were very strict growing up. Did any of you grow up with strict parents? Yeah, cool, awesome. What was the craziest rule that you guys had in your family? Anyone with strict parents?
Don't bring home a C on a report card ever.
Don't bring home a C on a report card ever. I don't know how, well, do you look back and you're like, that's crazy, all I wanted to do was have C's?
People, I mean, we're always more likely to laugh at things that we perceive to be spontaneous. I don't know why, it's just a human psychology thing. That's why it's great to be interactive with an audience.
So there was this girl in my geometry class, super hot. Her name was?
Taylor?
Taylor, exactly. Nailed it. Thanks. I like how you asked it as a question. Was it Taylor? Is that right?
So I'd like to put things like that in the show. That's why I have people name the characters in my stories instead of using their real names, partly for their privacy, but also just because it's kind of fun to see what names people say and then use those names for the whole rest of the show.
And her name was?
Courtney.
Courtney, yeah. Courtney, her name was?
Gladys.
Gladys, yeah. Now, her name was?
Lydia.
Wait, what, did you say Beyonce?
Yeah.
Cool. So, Beyonce.
Tonight after the show, actually, a couple came up to me afterwards and were like, were there any plants in the audience? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, just the interactions with the crowd were so good. We thought maybe there was plants.
Are there any children here? How old are you?
She's 10. She's 5.
I don't think I can say it. What would you rate your maturity level as?
I think it'll probably be good enough.
Wait. Do you mean my joke? We'll see. I'll tell you afterward. If it impresses me.
Josh has evolved as a performer from when he was a young boy. He had a radio show and he broadcast throughout our house by speaking into the vents.
Back into place, so I'm just kicking this tree. Sorry. Sorry, George.
When he was on chemo in the hospital, he went over and gave a magic show to all the other kids.
They paid me $10. It's pretty
Yeah, his first paid performance.
Have any of you ever had a grand romantic gesture that was done for you?
Someone wrote me a song.
Someone wrote you a song? Nice.
But in poem form.
I don't know.
The lyrics to the song without music.
Wait. They were like, this is a song. I know it just looks like a poem, but actually it's a song. That's like if I gave you a raw egg. I was like, I know it's an omelet.
As a junior in high school, he organized a motivational speech for middle schoolers. And I went to the first one, and it was not as good as he does now, but he
That's the most negative thing you're ever going to get my mom to say about me. It was horrible. I had 2 assemblies and they canceled the second one. That's how bad it was. Literally, they canceled it and said that my content was disturbing. And my mom says it's not as good as it is now.
Yeah, so this is my best friend, Brad. We met in freshman year of college.
15, 16-ish years ago. So it's funny like having Brad here because he knows a lot of stories. And I was never, I did mention him, but I waited till like the very end. I was out with some of my friends pretty soon after that in Washington, D.C., where we lived, and we were out dancing as we did at the time. Yeah, this is pretty much how I dance. And so this girl like walked up to me on the dance floor, and she's like, "You're awesome." And I was like, what? Like, she's like super hot and thinks I'm awesome already. I haven't even said anything to her yet. To be clear, these are thoughts. I didn't say that. I learned, so I played it cool. I was like, thanks. Brad was there like when Ashley and I met and could reasonably take credit, like a butterfly effect thing, for how we met, because we got to the bar and like waited in line, and Brad was the last person in our group, and then didn't get into the bar. Bad attitude.
Had a conflict with the bouncers. Yeah. For various reasons.
You know, it's like had he gotten in, we wouldn't have been standing in the same place, and I would have never met Ashley. So thank you. But later, I found her again, and I was like, hey, were you the girl that said I was awesome earlier? And she was like, yeah. And then right at that moment, her best friend who was there, like her ex-boyfriend had come to the bar, or someone else was wearing her outfit or something. She's like, we have to leave right now! And she's really dragging her away, and I was like, no! It's like, what's your name? I'll Facebook you! And she's like, Ashley Nolan! And so I turned to my best friend Brad, and I was like, you remember Ashley, I'll remember Nolan. And we I feel like, this is Brad, he was actually here. I feel like we made like a moniker for it. Like we were like Nolan, like baseball, like Nolan Ryan. And so just to make sure we didn't forget it.
So I was sleeping on the couch that night, and so Josh was basically up all night Facebooking Ashley Nolan. I still call her Nolan Ryan. And so I'd wake up like every hour, and he's still on there, like click, 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 and then go back to sleep. Wake up again, click, 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 and then finally went to sleep.
The next morning, I woke up, and like 5 Ashley Nolans had accepted my friend request. At some point, the real Ashley Nolan accepted my friend request, and she goes to my profile, and like my activity feed says, Josh Sundquist is friends with Ashley Nolan. 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 Ashley's never seen the show before. Because like, yeah, I've been touring it at college. She knows like all my jokes, but she's never seen it kind of like all pieced together like in that narrative.
Just like, I have never heard you share some of those stories in the way that you did. And I had this perfect vantage point. I was looking down, and I was just like, I can't, this is like beyond my wildest dreams. Like everything you worked so hard to put together is like paid off. And I was just genuinely like, my face hurt. So I was just like laughing really hard with everyone else. And it was just, all of us were in that room, like in that moment with you. And there were times where you paused and it was nothing. And I am so proud, and I'm just speechless.
Yeah. You know, this is, in theater terms, this is called a one-man show, but the reality is that this production is very much a team effort between Ashley and I, and I'm so lucky to have her on my team, both in this show and in my life. So I'll close by saying thank you guys so much for being here, and we should hang out sometime.